in the future that will see this, obviously. When it first goes live, it takes a little while for people to come on in. But yeah, it's true. I am now debt free. I mean, with the exception of my student loans, I'm still paying on those, but everything else in my credit score, all the accounts are paid for and done with. So I can finally start moving forward, improving my credit so I can improve my station in life, fixing all the mistakes of the past and moving on to greater pastures. I don't hear any click. I don't know how I feel about that. Am I not supposed to hear click? I don't know. This cap feels like a waste of plastic. See, look at that. That white cap that's in there, that's the only thing that's actually holding on. The rest is just for decoration. That's a waste. It's just another chill job with stuff in this box, just like I did last Friday. Just sitting here waiting for people from DoorDash to show up and hand them this box, their little promotional box or whatever, and then wait for the next one. Last time we only had one person. I waited here for an hour. One guy came by, picked up his box and left, and then I sat for 5 hours, and then I drove and dropped this off at the FedEx by home, and that was it. Pretty mellow, pretty chill. Doing that same thing again today. It's for some weird promotional thing. I don't really get it, but you know, it's not a bad day just sitting here running the clock, earning money. So, how are you guys doing? For the one person that's watching right now, how are you? How goes it? Oh man, I brought some stuff to write, so that's gonna be the majority of what I do today. It's polishing, a couple new things I need to write, but they're minor. Just connective stuff that I forgot of in the past. So, I'm gonna basically get on that in a little while. But right now, I wanted to chit chat with you guys, see how you fine folk are doing, and just chill, enjoy. Start my morning off right, I guess. So. Didn't even know that person walked up over there. Anyway, do I even have this live messages? Anyway, debt free feels good. Now it'll feel even better because my credit score starts going up. So I think kind of give it another month, kind of see what happens with it. It has gone up quite a bit actually. It's been weird. It's just been wonky. So there is another debt that I have that it's not listed on my credit report because it's in between agencies, and I was able to catch it before it went back on my credit report, which is good. And I'm paying that as well. It's $50 a month for 6 months to clear that one up. So. But aside from that, everything's pretty much mellow. I am waiting for the child support thing to close off. It's still listed as an open account. Yeah, last time I was here, man, it was quite the day, to say the least. A lot of interesting people coming and going from Target. Yep. I think I got a good spot. Shouldn't have to move from where I'm at. I would prefer to stay in one location. I mean, honestly, for the people that would come by, it'd be easier if I were closer to the actual Target, because for whatever reason, And I talked to the guy last time on the DoorDash side. The address is Target, but there's a note that says, "Do not go in Target. Call this number, and the person will hook you up." It's really confusing, and for a lot of people, it just seems really weird when they don't understand like what it's for, because to them it's just like a food delivery or whatever. But then no, I hand them this weird ass box of promotional pamphlets and whatever. Like, here, this is what you're delivering, and they get just as confused as me. And I'm like, I don't even know, man. I don't know what the whole premise of this whole thing is. I'm just told to sit here and hand them out. So, this is what it is, I guess. Can I? Is there any way to? Anyway, blasey blah 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 blah. Here I am, still sitting, waiting, chilling. Hopefully, get a little bit of conversation going with you fine folk. The book. Oh, the book. Like I said, I got some stuff I'm cleaning up today. Hopefully, I'm hoping to, while I'm here, to get in at least 4,000 or 5,000 words. I know that that is actually pretty daunting. That's like a full day for me. But if I got hours and hours to sit here, then I'm gonna try to gun it. I'm gonna try to do as much as I can. But we shall see. We shall see. You know, the hardest part about writing for me, and I've noticed this with Shelter, it's like I have all these crazy ideas, I have these big scenes and this, that, and the other, but it's like transitioning from one scene to the next. Like I was working on Runway Run last night, and there's like almost 4,000 words in the chapter, and there's still quite a bit to go. And I'm in this scene where it's transitioning from one location onto the next, but it's like go, 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 go. So, like, I don't want to like drag it out. I want to, it's expedient. It's like one thing. It's like after another. It's like boom, 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 because it's like essentially it's a chase scene. And it's like I want to write it with enough clarity so that the reader can get what the hell's going on, but I don't want to extend it so far to where it feels like a slog. It feels, it's like going back and rereading some of the stuff from the beginning of the story. It feels like there's a massive info dump earlier on, because like the first chapter, there's hardly any dialogue in it. There's a little bit of dialogue at the end of the chapter, but it's like a lot introducing the landscape, the environment. It's personifying the city of Chicago. The city of itself, I feel as a writer, is a character. So I wanted to add as much to that as possible, so that whoever reads it can see that they're kind of, that this world is pretty developed. It's developed enough for this story. So it's kind of, I don't know, like a little. We're gonna work on this all in the editing stage, the main editing stage. I'm just kind of going through it right now. But, gonna film the Kickstarter video tomorrow, so hopefully it'll be up by Tuesday or Wednesday. Film, edit, all tomorrow is what I'm gonna be doing, and we're gonna kind of go from there. As much as I like to work, or I need to work, it would be nice to take Saturday and Sunday off, kind of put through the bulk of that I have left for that Kickstarter video. But the goal is to get it submitted Saturday night. So I want to film it, edit it, and get it out there, so it's on the so Kickstarter can approve it sooner rather than later. So that's kind of the idea. Man, just waiting. No, I didn't get anything. Oh, let me just turn my ringer on, because I know I'm like the worst with that. I gotta make sure I'm aware of anyone or that is trying to get a hold of me while I'm here doing this. Quick cues off topic, as an old army boy gave me give me your opinion on working as a correctional officer in New York. I know this makes plus a year at the overtime. Okay. I mean, I've never done correctional officer work, but I have worked as a security guard before, patrol officer, for G4S. Not saying that by any means they're the same thing, but it's essentially this. It's a very similar industry. Uh, Different specifications, obviously, and yeah, you could make a lot of money. Yeah, there's that. Standard security work. Uh, I would say that as far as corrections go, it's probably a much better spot than um, I mean, your day-to-day work and whatnot. Because essentially, a lot of these times, your client is the state. You know, you're working on behalf of the state, or even if it's a privatized prison that you're working in, there's still federal and state guidelines that need to be adhered to. So you're usually in a better off position work-wise. Whereas with most security companies are all private practice. They're all these private companies that take care of that service for multiple different clients. So you have your corporate ruling you need to fall under all the not terms of service, but the law of the land as far as whatever company you're working for. Like, so for G4S, we had to adhere to 100% of G4S's stuff, which was expected. But then on top of that, no matter what client you go to, they're going to have their own specification on what they need for their location. So when I was working for G4S at Bella Vita, there was certain standards and expectations that were required of Bella Vita, which once again is perfectly fine. The downside comes from the intermingling of the two, where Bella Vita would have certain requirements, standards, and expectations that we were not fully equipped to deliver because of G4S not necessarily having our back as employees. They would make sure that the area was staffed enough to get work going. But man, oh man, I can go on and on about the things that were wrong with that contract, man. So Bella Vita for G4S, Bella Vita is the largest condo complex in the state of Nevada. It's huge, and at any one time there was 4 security guards working. On swing shift, you would have people coming in and out, but for the most part, that was about it. And the thing that sucked the most about Bella Vita is that if we had bikes. It was such a big location, we needed bikes. The bikes that we had were old, they were broken down. You would pedal about 4 or 5 rotations on the bike, and the chain would come undone. The tires were getting cracked and flat, and we're constantly pumping them up. They wouldn't give us new inner tubes. Like, they wouldn't equip us properly for the job. What else? Oh yeah, so part of our route for doing patrol, there were these NFC tags. Can't wait till shelter drops. Yeah, I'm gonna be streaming every single day for the next 30 days once it's out. But that's primarily going to be on Twitch. So I'm trying to gear up everyone on YouTube now. Follow me on Twitch, set your notifications so you know when I go live. I'll have a better idea of what time each day I will be going live to do my promotion and my talking and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, streaming every day is to promote the book, but at the same time, it's a little for me as well to just chit-chat with y'all. Yeah, so we had these NFC tags that were at different locations, and we would go on our route, whichever section of the complex we had to take care of, and we go beep beep beep, beep with our little phones. Well, our phones weren't always working; they weren't always copy tippers and whatnot. So we had issues with the phones that we had, but they got the job done for the most part. But a lot of the tags wouldn't scan. So instead of coming out and replacing the tags, we had to write everything down, which was fine. But because it wasn't digitalized in the computer, we would still get bitched at. We would tell them we can't, we've written down which ones aren't working at which locations. We wrote down the times that we went to those locations to do our route. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Oh man, working as a security guard sucked, dude. Like, I'm so glad I don't do it anymore. I mean, for the most part, it's kind of like one of those mindless jobs. You kind of just show up, and you're just a presence. You know, your presence deters nefarious actions. But even though that we were security there, it was still like a shit show that happened. Like, one chick got her purse stolen while she was at the jacuzzi um, on that side of the complex, and the guy held her at knife point with a machete. Can't make this shit up, you know? And I don't know, the whole thing was just. Someone died right outside the front gate. This lady went to leave, she went to make a left turn. Saw the video footage of it because I came in right after it happened. That was a crazy day. This lady comes in, she stops, and to make her left turn. And oh my god, dude, she stops to make her left. She stops to make her left. The light turns green, she gives it a second, and then she goes to make a left. And someone that was like texting on their phone barreled right through a red light and hit her. She died. It sucked. Mm. So what else is going on with you fine folk? What other bullshit? So that day, the thing about that day is there's one way in and one way out of Bella Vita, and that is Decatur. That's the street, the main street out. So going out of Bella Vita, they had to close down all of Decatur, so people couldn't get in and out of Bella Vita. So there was like a service gate that we opened up just to let people in, because you could still get out, but you had to make a right out of the main complex. So we were having people trying to get in from our spot. We did direct traffic and stuff, and it was just, oh my god, it was just one hell of a day. It was just a shit show. And I got there like right after it happened, like 20 minutes after it happened. What is this dude doing, man? This guy's like driving around. It's weird. Yeah, there's a lot of homeless people in Vegas. Like a lot. Holy shit. So, on the side of town that I live at, it's a pretty decent side of town, but this side of town, it's crawling with homeless people. Like they're everywhere. But on my side of town, they kind of all stick to the commercial areas. You don't really see them in people's neighborhoods and stuff. But this side of town, it's crazy how many there are. It's like the closer you get to the strip, the more homeless people there are. Um, it's it's so weird. There's this one dude. What was it, about a year and a half ago, about a year ago or so? There's this guy. He's probably a little younger than me, and this guy, it was just, it wasn't upsetting, but it was sad to see someone younger than me be homeless, and I'm like, damn, dude, what the hell? And I had wanted to do something for this guy. You know, I'm thinking like, man, like, is there any way I could help this other individual? Because, you know, homelessness is one of those things. If you, by giving these people money, you're essentially contributing to the problem. You know, it's like, and I'm not saying not to do nice things for people, but when you break it down, homelessness is a statistical problem. It's a number problem. You know, there's so many people that are homeless. It's like you can't just sit there and be like, oh, we'll just throw money at them and they'll get their shit together. No, it's a societal thing that we need to combat. Um, but it does require money placed in the right areas, the right resources to address properly. And handing money to these people directly, that doesn't solve the problem. These people need places to stay. These people need jobs. You know, these people need stability. Um, you know, and it was always sad. I remember I was in Seattle and we were walking around and I'd seen this girl. And at the time, she must have been about my age. I think I was 24 back then. God, years ago. And this girl, I mean, she was dirty, her clothes were ragged and stained, but you could see it in her eyes, you could see it in her face. She was beautiful. Not that it meant anything. It doesn't matter if she's beautiful or not, but um, but seeing that it can happen to anyone is kind of what it told me, young me, is that no one's really immune to this. I mean, hell, I've been homeless in my life, you know, but I've also been a very fortunate homeless person. I had a vehicle. You know, I didn't have a residence, but I at least had a place to call home, which was my car. You know, and I always had people looking out for me. There were times where I did have a place to stay and stuff. It did mean a lot to me. It's not really the easiest thing in the world to talk about, but I do look back at it as an era of my life that I just want to block out so bad, but I have to acknowledge the fact that that's where I was and here's where I am now. And every year I'm getting better. Every year I'm elevating myself. The progress I've made in 2019 is mind-blowing. To clear up my debt the way that I have is just amazing. And it's like it's as helpful for me as it is for my family, because now I actually am on the right track. Everything I feel my family deserves. And when shelters, I hope to God it does well. I don't know though. I don't know if it will or won't, but I hope it does. And it's like, we'll see what happens. Someone's smoking weed. I think it's that chick that's over to the right of me that's yelling on the phone with whoever the fuck. Oh man. Mm. Shelter's an interesting thing, dude, thinking about it, because yeah, I'm crowdfunding it, right? The hardest part is getting my reward tiers. All right, so 2019 was all about getting my money right, and my money is still not right, but I'm debt free. All my bills are current. I'm broke, but you know, I'm kind of getting everything established. So the goal right now is film the Kickstarter, submit the actual Kickstarter itself. When it's approved by Kickstarter, then I will launch it, and then hopefully I can. I need at least $800 to make this work. That's factoring in all the costs. You know, Kickstarter's cut, shipping costs for the and the rewards and shipping for the rewards. All these things are all kind of built in with each other. So the goal is $3,800. That's going to be enough for editing and ISBN registration. So as long as I can take care of that, then that'll be the bare minimum I need. Now, I want to be a lot more successful than that, right? I want to be able to earn a lot of money. I don't expect to earn more than my goal. I'm hoping to earn my goal within the first 72 hours, because there is not just you guys that have followed me on YouTube and stuff. There's friends of mine and extended friends of family. There's already a wide circle of people that have close ties to me IRL in real life, that want to support and be a part of this endeavor, and that means a lot to me. So I'm pretty sure I'll garner quite a bit of revenue within the first couple days, and that should get me close, if not at, my goal. And then the rest is just kind of like seeing what happens. And if it blows up and I earn a crazy amount of money on it, that'd be great. The downside is getting my reward tiers just right, because fulfilling these rewards costs money. I have to pay for copies of the book. I have to pay to ship the books out. Like, this stuff's expensive. And I want to make sure that to maximize the revenue I have, there's the bare minimum I need. If I made $3,800, that gives me about $2,600 to play with, and that's just for the stuff to get it published, the bare minimum. Professional editing and whatnot. Then after that, it's I think if we raise 5,000, that gives me about close to 4,000 to work with. Close, not exactly. It'd be about 3,800. Because it's like, as you go up, I'm earning more money, but the amount of money that I have to work with doesn't scale appropriately. It's all contingent upon which reward tier people go after. So I just gotta price things out accordingly. That's it. But I think I have a good way of simplifying it. I think I'll do hard and soft copy separate. Yeah. Anyway, depending on how much money the Kickstarter raises, depends on what I'm able to do with the book, what extra outside. I think I would have to raise, I think, about $13,000 after accounting for Kickstarter's cut, after accounting for rewards and stuff. 13,000 would be the bare minimum I need to get an audio version of the book. Yeah, that would basically like gangbusters, fantastic, right? Anyway, where else was I? So after the book, once the Kickstarter is done, and I send it off to my editor, found an editor, by the way, like, the guy is perfect for my genre. Once I send process, it's going to be 30 days. He'll get back to me with everything that's been edited. We'll kind of go over on the fixes, and I'll approve the fixes, disapprove of them, whatever. So it's going to be another about a week or 2 weeks of kind of going over the edits that were made. And then after that, we're then going to proceed forward to setting all those changes have been approved. We format the book, we get everything nice and neatly done, and then we kind of push out to the next stage, which is releasing it. So once I get it back from the editor and we have things approved, I can put out a firm release date. Like, this is the date the book will be done. It'll be out there. So my projection right now, my editor, he wants me to start now. He wants me to send it off to him now, but I don't have the money to send it off to him now. So I told him, you have to wait until after the Kickstarter, which delays it by a month and a half, which kind of sucks. Because I can't start unless I have the money, right? So the money to get started, at least. He needs $600 up front. So anyway, yeah, the plan is it's going to hopefully be out by February, March. If he's okay with working through the holiday, it could be out like sometime in January. If I would have started my Kickstarter a month ago and already been in the editorial process, it would have been out before Christmas, which would have been great. But I didn't have time. I was doing this, that, and the other. I was so all over the place. Hey, Brian, what's up? I was so all over the place, I didn't have time to sit down and write everything that needed to be written. So I'm trying not to rush it. I'm trying to, take things nice and steady with it. How is everyone doing today? So the next goal after the book, and once it's released, is if I can release the book in either January or February, that'll give me an indication on how much extra revenue that I'm going to make from sales. That will tell me whether or not I can move from Las Vegas. So the goal is to move to a different place entirely come March, April timeframe. To no longer live at our apartment complex. Bare minimum, we want to move somewhere else, somewhere bigger. If we do have to stay here for another year. But if I'm making enough money from the book, I'll go month to month where I'm at. It costs more to go month to month, but if I'm pulling in extra revenue, then it's no problem. At which point I will then start looking at a home. Because then I'll have enough revenue built up as a good projection to be able to afford a place to live or a house, I guess. So, So we'll see. We shall see. That's the goal. The goal is to we kind of focus on the living situation. I would rather rent a house than rent an apartment. I'd rather own a house than rent anything. You've been doing TaskRabbit. Absolutely. It's actually what I'm doing right now. This job is actually extremely weird. I'm doing this on behalf of a marketing company. And what are the prices for a house out here? Out here, it's about $200,000 for a house. Some cheaper depending on where you're at. There are some not so wonderful places that you could probably get in for $170,000. But between $200,000 and $250,000 kind of fits realistically within the budget of what I would pay for a mortgage each month. Which, even at those prices, too much different than what I'm paying now. So that's kind of why if my mortgage would be the equivalent of my rent, or even maybe like 5 to 10% higher, I'd rather pay the money into something that I own than to someone that's profiting off of me just trying to live. So, but yeah, so this task I got going on right now, promotional like PR boxes, or I don't know what, it's so confusing. There's this marketing company that has some sort of marketing campaign with their client. Where you're trying to get a house at? Probably somewhere either in Enumclaw up in Washington or Colorado Springs, Colorado. I just want to get the hell out of the southern desert, the fucking Mojave. I don't want to be here anymore. It's been 3 years now since I moved out here, and holy crap, dude! I'm tired of the weather. I'm done. Right? I got family up in Washington that live in Black Diamond, Ravensdale. So Enumclaw is not very far away. It's really close to them. But the missus doesn't want to move to Washington, so our compromise is Colorado Springs, Colorado. The high desert. So still a desert, but climate-wise, it's relatively temperate. It's kind of in the heartland of America. It's like that sweet spot. It's only a desert because they don't get a crazy amount of precipitation, mainly because the mountains are like hugging it. So a lot of the precipitation that comes in from the ocean kind of falls off. But there is a lot of water on top of an aquifer. Let's see, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms. I don't know. I haven't really looked at prices on houses out here because I don't want to own a house out here. I don't really want to set roots in Las Vegas, but minimum 3 bedrooms. Minimum 3 bedroom, 2 bath for a house, because room for each of the boys and then me and the missus. That's being as realistic as possible. Obviously, everyone would want just a little bit more, but I think bare minimum, a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, I think would be just fine. So, a bathroom for the boys and a bathroom for me and her. Yo, yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm trying to finish this. So this damn thing, working for this marketing company who's doing a campaign for one of their clients, right? So I have to sit here and wait for dashers from DoorDash to show up to Target expecting to pick something up, but they have a note that says to call me. The DoorDash guys will show up, they'll call my phone, I'll answer, I'll say, hey, I'm over here, and then I'll take out one of these promotional boxes and hand it to them, and it's like, this is what you're supposed to deliver. It's not food, no, it's not food, it's whatever is in this box. And that's it. And then they go on their merry way. And last time I was out here, I was working from 9 to 5. Oh, come on, dude. Come on, man. Each month to cover your rent or mortgage. 0. um, all right, taking your question at face value, it depends on where the book is bought from. If it's bought as an ebook or if it's bought as a like copy, the numbers are a little bit different. But I guess I would say roughly 200 books a month. That's about right. Yeah, if I sold 200 books a month, that would that would be enough to cover the mortgage. I think my math is probably really bad, but yeah, that would cover. I'm pretty sure. I don't have a calculator in front of me. I'm just spitballing numbers in my head. But based upon the royalty amount for the price of the book, yeah, that 200 books a month, that would cover me, just for that. Realistically speaking, though, it's not like the only thing I do is work and is write and sell books. I work full time, so I have that going for me. Also, I'm a disabled vet, so I do get a little bit that helps, but you know, not like I have 100% disability or anything like that. But you know, every little bit helps for shit that should have been addressed while I was in. Jobs like today are so bittersweet because all I have to do is sit here. That's a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is, hey, just sitting, just chilling, got nothing going on, right? And then on the other hand, it's like, damn, I gotta sit here to drive all the way back in rush hour traffic to the other side of town. It's like, really? Anyway. Oh, man. I have to piss. I ain't gonna lie. That's, can we kind of get off that topic? Jesus Christ, man. I'm not even sure if that shit's fucking legal, dude. I mean, yeah, technically you can resell clothes. That's fine. There's technically nothing against that. But I guess. Christ. Oh my gosh, what is your disability? Is it PTSD? ugh. Y'all motherfuckers, man. Y'all are killing me. I have several injuries from my time enlisted. Make a long story short. Have you? All right, hold on. Let me kind of look through this. Have you, task client, ever cancel you in the middle of a task? Has a client ever canceled a task in the middle of it? Yeah, it's actually happened quite a few times. I'm sorry, I hate doing that, but come on, man, it's getting to be a bit much. Jesus Christ. All right, yes, I've had clients cancel in the middle of the task. I've had them cancel the moment the task was why is that arrow there? I don't know, whatever. Let's see. So I had one chick in the middle of me working. I guess she thought that I wouldn't notice, and I was supposed to be there like all day, and she canceled the task right as I was in the middle of it. Like I'd already gotten done 2 hours worth of work, and I had another 3 to go. Yeah, you did miss his reply because I timed him out because, I already warned him I don't want to hear that shit, alright? Come on, man. I hate doing that. I'm not going to block anybody. I'm not going to ban anybody, but come on, dude. You gotta chill. You gotta chill. Anyway. Yeah, so, and I was like, I stopped working on like this wardrobe I was building for her. And I went over to her and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get going. So she's like, oh, are you already done? And I'm like, no, the task was canceled. So because it's canceled, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm gonna be working here any longer. And she's like, oh, how did that happen? And I'm like, well, it says that you canceled the task, so which means that you don't no longer want the task to be worked out on. So I got to take a few pictures, let support know, so they can, hopefully I can get compensated for my time here. But as of right now, I'm gonna leave. And she started freaking out, and she's like, well, the job's not even done. You need to finish it. It's like the task is canceled, which means that it's no longer on my list, which means I can no longer do it. Like, I don't know, like I was trying to explain this to her, and she's like, well, go ahead and keep working. I'll try to get it back on. And I'm like, I'm not gonna start on anything until I have the notification that it's back on. And around and all this stuff, and it was like a good 30 minutes standing there like baiting this whole thing with her until she finally like rehired me, because I was loading my stuff up, ready to get out, ready to walk out to leave. It's like, I'm not gonna stay here for this. And she's like, oh, I really need it done, and it's in pieces all in my room right now. And it's like, well, if you wouldn't have canceled, that wouldn't have been the case. So she rehired me again, and I was like, okay, fine. So I made notes in the chat about what had happened, and so I said, hey, I'm going to be billing for the entire time I've been here, not from the time that this task was created. And I let her know, and she approved, and then finished up the job. And then I hear back from her later that she got all pissed off that she got feed for the cancellation because it was under 24 hours. And I was like, yeah, you got feed for that because you shouldn't have canceled. So it's basically like I worked the 5.5 hours plus the extra hour that was covered by the cancellation, base fee for that. So that one was one that was kind of manageable because she really did want the work done. She was just trying to get out without paying. So the other thing was, there was a job where I worked for this guy. The reception in his condo or his apartment or whatever it was really spotty. To make a long story short, I have several videos on this one guy. Worst fucking job ever. He lied about what needed to be installed. He said, oh, I just need a shelf hung. And I get there and it's not a shelf, it's like a whole cabinet. It's like a TV stand that's elevated above the ground. And I tell him, like, dude, no, this is not a shelf. He's like, oh yeah, it is a shelf. It's up on the wall. It's like, it's not a shelf. That's a cabinet. That's gonna take, shelf would have taken me 10-15 minutes to put up. Is that the African American customer? Oh, this guy? Yeah, this guy was. Yeah, and I was like, dude, come on, man. And he's like, well, I literally have to cancel my next job because of this. Smoking weed? You smoking weed, listen to shitty fucking music in there and stuff, talking about how he's like a up and coming rapper and shit. Like, whatever, man. And I do this. I fucking like, all right, I gotta cancel my next job. It's you kind of put me in a hard spot, and I should have like, I don't want to make this a longer story than it needs to, but so I work on this damn thing. Falls asleep on the couch. I finish the job. I take pictures. I send pictures to the wrong client instead of him because the app is all jacked up because my reception's bad, so nothing's fucking loading, and I'm ready to invoice him. I can't invoice him because of how bad the reception is. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So I then cancel on him. Or no, I don't cancel on him. Then I'm like, hey, I'm all done here. You like it? He's like, oh man, that's fresh, dog. That's good. And I was like, perfect. I'm gonna get going. I'll invoice you once my reception clears up. He's like, okay, for sure. And then I leave. And then as I go out the parking lot, the parking garage, that's when I get the notification that he canceled the job. So he just wanted me to come out, and he wanted to save some money. Long story short, I was able to get it fixed, but what a pain in the dick, dude. Alright, so I actually have to take a piss like really, really bad. So I'm actually going to go do that now. Great info for you guys, right? Thank you guys for dropping by. I appreciate it. I'm going to work on shelter while I wait for people to show up. As always, I'm your oh so beloved and glorious Mace Valor. Signing off.